Alright guys, so this is phase 5 and today I'm going to be I decided to work on using the red paint. I'll try to cover as many paints as I can, I'll try to cover as many red areas, or areas that need red, as I can with this video. Um, if not, then I'll continue on with phase 6, but phase 6 I'm going to try to continue with using some of the purple or the violet pieces, like right here. Here's a nicely fully painted shoulder armor right here, using this paint, which is Gundam Violet, very close to this color. Actually, it's a little bit darker than this one. It's probably because there's a black background, but it's okay. And also, I'm using Tamiya flat red because later on I'm going to go over everything with a gloss coating. So yeah, I'm going to start working on some of the red paints. Now let me kind of just show you something here. I'm not feeling too well, obviously you can tell with my voice. I'm going to try to zoom in with different things, so the volume and the audio will cut off while I zoom in, but so you guys can get an idea of what's going on with the red here. Okay, so I don't know if that was a good enough zoom, but you can kind of see the red detail here on the leg. You can see the red trim on the front part, and then the back part. The back part's not done, it's only a single layer. It's a very thin layer. As you can see, there's still some black kind of piercing right through the red, so I still have another layer of that to apply to. But I like the red trim along the along the little front part of the leg here. So I really like that. I still need to add some of that violet on the side here. So yeah. Some thrusters. This is also a single layer too, so yeah, I'm gonna start working on that too. Back here, I painted more like Gundam marker, the chrome silver, and I like how that shines there. I'm gonna also do the same thing with the clear red here because I also realized that was supposed to be painted. It's something you won't rarely ever see since you mostly be looking at the front of the Gundam or the front of the kit, but I felt like it was a little piece of detail that needed to be added for consistency as well. And also, finally, here's one of the fists, which hopefully I'll be working on in the next part. The other fist, actually. Came out pretty good. These aren't panel lines, by the way. They're just creases in the molding that I just skipped so that I wouldn't have to panel line. Since the lines are deep enough and the pieces are black anyway, it looks good, I'd have to say. So yep, I'm gonna start painting the reds. I think I'll work on the trim of the legs, because I think it's something you guys should talk about. There will be no music or anything, guys, so sorry for the silence. Okay, so we're going to be going over the trim here. A lot of you guys are probably noticing my paintbrush is not as fine tip as it could be. Well, I've kind of learned to get the hang of just using this tip. I would really wish to have a super fine tip paintbrush so I can really get some fine detailing going. But for now, I like how this one's working out. I think when it comes down to customizing or at least painting a high grade, that's when I'll really need it. But so far, with any high grade I've painted, there wasn't too many fine details that I needed to add. Sorry, I'm just getting the paint here. A little too much. Whoa, okay, I'm going over. Okay, yeah, so I went over a little bit. That's the first time it happened. But, you know, it's kind of hard to paint on camera. That's why I got carried away and did a lot of painting off camera. But anyway, that's the trim. And it was easy. It was actually pretty easy because it's not just the panel line that divides the rest of the leg with that trim there, but it's also an elevated piece of plastic. So that piece of plastic where the trim is actually a little bit higher than the rest of the leg. So that's what made it easy. Whoa. So yeah, I'm gonna go on to the back now. A little bit more paint. I mean, I gotta say I love using this brush, even though it's not, you know, as fine tip as it could be. I just love using it. Oh, hands are kind of shaky from being sick. Okay. So far so good, and I only have 4 minutes left. Yeah, so you guys can get a general idea of how I do things here. I think let's see what I can do. There's also a red trim here that needs to be added on. I think I'll do that with the time I have left. As you can see here, I think with this I'll save with the using the purple. It's pretty easy in here. You know, it's just a little groove. You can just fill it in with red using this. And that's pretty much it. Red trim here, so I'll do that. And there's also the numerous thrusters. Actually, I think there'll be some parts in the next phase where I'll continue with the red. So, you know, I mean, if not, I most likely will do it off camera. Just, you know, just because I get carried away with things like that. I always tend to do things like that. Like, I get carried away. I say I do a build thing or a paint thing, and then I never do it because I get carried away from doing it without recording it. And then it never really ends up on the internet. There's a little over there. I might have thinned it a little too much. You know, this is actually a nice experience, being able to paint on camera, because you guys can experience like real-time error and things like that, which is always nice. And you know, I'm not a very good modeler in terms of painting. When it comes to experience, you know, this is actually relatively new to me sometimes. Like, I think the most I've actually really done is really paint and things like that. I have not experienced using washes and things like that, so some of this stuff is new to me. So anyway, I went a little bit over on this, and it was kind of hard not to avoid that due to the fact that these two pieces are individual and you have to snap them in together, and it didn't seem like it was a very good like, you can kind of tell already too, it wasn't a very good division. So one piece was a little higher than another piece, so, and then you have this crease. I think that's fixed with just, there you go, looks a little better. So yeah, that trim, I also need to add a red in the thruster there. That's pretty much all the red. Oh, and of course the Tricaro system, but I'm gonna save this whole piece for like a separate part. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next phase.